to order, roll call. And roll call, please. Present.
Councilman Stat,
Here.
Councilman Brownwell,
Here.
Councilwoman Crowley,
Present.
Councilman Mitchell,
Here. A salute to the flag will be led by Hemlock Fire Chief Chad Frazier.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Need a motion for the approval of the August 12th minutes.
Motion.
I'll second. And those in favor?
Aye.
That carries. Thank you. Motion to open the public hearing to entertain comments for our fire protection districts control contracts for fiscal year 2025. I'll make that.
I'll make that motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second it. Those in favor?
Aye.
That carries. So, it's nice to have budget numbers and who would like to go first?
We will.
Okay. Step right up. And just going forward to it, you have actuals of 22 and 23. That actually helps us even more. So we can see what happened in 22 and 23. I know it's a couple extra columns, but then you'll always have it. And that helps you out when you're doing a budget.
And you should also introduce yourself for Eileen.
So my name is Ray Thomas, I'm on Fire Commission.
I'm Jesse Miller, I'm the fire chief.
So we're here tonight to basically support and give reasoning. We've met with Supervisor Stoller, had a great conversation, kind of felt where he was at, we kind of looked at where we were headed, and then we're here tonight just to kind of explain our reasoning and engage in a conversation to see where both parties are at. I guess anytime you can step into, so just kind of give a basic rundown, so well, looking for what we've noted down, what we've discussed, 6% increase. Looking at the main thing, an idea, we're trying to get Candice and Richmond somewhat closer. There's like a 20% flux there. Some different ideas we've looked at. Calls, we've showed Mr. So some calls, probably, what was it, 60-40 or
Yeah.
somewhere there, somewhere that number, that range.
I did circulate that, yes.
We also brought up, we're now paying EMS, payroll costs have gone up. Increased secretary, treasurer, their rates. Is everything's going up, boat costs at the marina, even just running a slip. Anything.
I mean, so maintenance costs obviously are going up on everybody's stuff, so having a fleet as large as ours, we are consistently doing maintenance. We did put off a couple of large maintenance projects on our apparatus this year, due to the fact that it just wasn't in the budget. So we are looking to do a couple of some major repairs next year on some of our apparatus as well. Like Ray said, we are paying our paramedics 24/7 right now. So you will receive 24/7 advanced life support anywhere in our districts. So we were previously using a staffing company. That staffing company has gone under, and we figured that it was more responsible for us to take that over. So we were having some problems with our leasing company with discipline, not disciplining the members that we needed them to. So we have taken that over. Unfortunately, also taking over payroll costs as well. So they are not receiving healthcare at this time. They are all per diem, so we have cut that cost, thankfully. But a lot of our major increases are the secretary and the treasurer got a raise this year. Who are both doing great for us. And that payroll increase that is now, before we were able to take that chunk that we weren't actually spending all of for our paid staff, and we were able to put that into a reserve, hopefully to, in the future, purchase. We are due for a new ambulance, and we are trying to get a new engine to replace our Quint. So we have made some fiscal responsibility decisions to not replace our ladder truck, so hopefully lowering that cost that we're gonna have to spend on a new truck. But like everybody knows, everything's going up, so unfortunately, I believe by the time that we are ready to purchase a fire truck, it's going to be a lot more than we're ready for. So at this time, we're just trying to build that reserve. So we are able to purchase the needed apparatus.
I see in this you have EMS charts in yellow, is that?
I'm not sure, so that was something put on the treasurer's side, she highlighted that yellow.
Just looking at it, I see it's an increase.
And it's a significant increase,
It's a
yeah,
significant-
That's
yeah.
what I-
Yeah, so EMS charts is what we use for all of our,
That's 20%, I guess.
Maybe it's because it's the percentage, right? But it's
Yeah.
only $500, scheme thing, not that much. I see your secretary treasurer is 3,000. And your real property taxes. These are property taxes that you pay.
no, that is our income.
Mhm.
Everything under that is going to be our expenses, so those top four are gonna be our income, and then everything under that will be an expense.
Right. And so the difference between what you collect from property tax and from your expenses, where does the rest of your funding come from?
So our district is taxes. We do have two separate funds, so we have a department and the district. The department is able to do the fundraising, the district is not. So all of the fundraising money and stuff has to go under the department.
Okay.
So the district is strictly tax revenue.
Under building maintenance, you have building lease. Does the fire department not own its building?
So the fire department unfortunately owns the building. The fire district, who we're here representing, has to lease the building to put our apparatus in there. So the department uses that money for,
Maintenance.
yeah, the department is using that money that they get from us on maintenance for the building. They just we did a new parking lot. The department paid for that. Not the district. So I apologize. It does get kind of confusing.
Yeah.
It gets very confusing.
Like back and forth.
So yeah, we pay the department that lease money to hold our fire trucks, and then they in turn use that money to. Cause they don't get tax money, they get their money by fundraisers and donations and stuff like that. So I apologize, it does get
Very-
confusing
very-
between the two of those.
Department,
Separate.
All things being equal, I find the increases to be pretty minimal.
Yeah, I think so.
Somebody's doing a good job.
So we are trying to do very small increases at this point,
Okay,
so.
yeah,
We talked about in our meeting too, kind of level loading things going forward rather than one
Right.
hit.
yeah,
We
well,
discussed this.
1% is stunning these days,
Yeah, actually pretty damn good.
beyond good. Okay,
Because comparatively, as you mentioned, $500 in the EMS charge was a minimal amount of money. And then we jump over to these increases comparative to the total. It's really not catastrophic.
Yes,
exactly,
Yes. That's the bottom line. Yep.
exactly.
Your cost controls are pretty good.
Mhm.
We're trying until we get to the apparatus line, and then unfortunately, that is a large bill.
Most of these variances are zero.
Just like any large purchases.
So I guess I have two top level questions.
So
I agree with Kate. Your budgeting expenses only went up just a little over 1%.
Mhm.
But your tax revenue you're requesting went up 4.44%. So where did that 3% difference go?
That's the we were hoping to have to put towards
Those
these.
reserves.
They're putting
yeah, so
in
we are
equipment,
trying to build that reserve, so
Yeah.
when we are able to purchase the fire truck, it is.
Well, I didn't see, I assumed the contingency would be, is there some other reserve other than contingency?
So if it's not on here, and I apologize, our treasurer was supposed to be here to help us with all of the different line items.
The contingency is the same.
Yeah, so the contingency is kind of our overflow. At that point, if we if we do go over in any line item, we can pull out of that contingency. And then anything left over can go towards, large purchases.
And my second question is, and I don't need to see the Excel spreadsheet, but can you just make clear the strategy of how you came up with splitting it between Canadice, Richmond and South Bristol and South Bristol or Bristol?
South
It's
Bristol,
South Bristol.
we do have a small portion of South Bristol.
Okay,
I know South Bristol has,
and the increases vary by town as well. Cause you just, I don't need to know the math, but just what was the approach? What was the strategy?
Yeah, so, the biggest reason that Canadice is at that 6% is we are trying to, slowly close that gap. South Bristol, I think in the first quarter, we responded there like 4 times. So it's very hard for us to continue, like, raise them 6% when we're barely responding into that district, where Canadice and Richmond were very, very close.
So
In
what-
call numbers.
What you're trying to do is get us to pay the 40% of the total budget. And Richmond pay the 60% of the total budget. Instead of Richmond paying 75% and us paying. Or even 80%.
And
us
is
paying
that the
20%.
mark is 60/40?
It's about.
That's that report that
Yeah.
provided us, the volume of calls.
Okay,
All right, I get it, I get
sorry,
it.
I haven't.
Just
I
when I
haven't seen
look
the
at
report.
this, it jump, when I just look at this,
Yeah,
there's no, I get it.
Is that,
Okay.
am I stating that correctly? You want
yeah,
us
so
to
we're
be?
trying to get it a little bit closer. I mean, we're not gonna equal it out. We're not responding here equally.
Right.
But now it's a skewed
But
huge
now
right
there's a
now.
huge difference, just trying to get a little closer. A
Thank
little
you.
closer in that number.
Service needs versus.
And we had talked about this, so.
Oh, yeah,
And also it's a little bit further. For Canadice, but there are, your farthest point south or north in Richmond is probably equal to the farthest point,
No.
I
No,
wouldn't think so. Farthest
we're almost to
would be-
spring water up here.
okay?
Mhm.
But
And
as
it's
far
all,
as
I mean,
this-
keep in mind, it's all hill,
Right, I understand,
so.
I
but
do
yeah,
understand, believe me,
Yeah, no,
every day I come here,
so,
I gotta get
Uh,
Treble Hill.
I mean, we're only going to the West Bloomfield town line. On the other side,
Okay,
so I mean, we're here, we're coming all the way up to the Springwater town line.
Outline Road, it's.
And the majority of calls in Candace, correct, for fire and alcohol water.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's no hydrants up here, so we are hauling water, hauling that extra weight.
roger that. No, you provide a lot of information and I appreciate.
yeah,
you being
this is
ahead of time.
excellent.
Is there anything else that you guys wanted that we didn't provide?
This is a ton better than last year.
Yeah,
Just gonna say, this is.
I do apologize for last year. We are trying to,
Ton.
we do have a new commission and. Last year was my first year. I was kind of getting my feet wet, so I do apologize for last year.
It's not-
We wanna help each other, that's why we're here,
Absolutely.
Exactly.
thank you. Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica.
mhm.
And who's speaking for Hemlock?
I will.
All right, Chad Frazier.
I'm the fire chief of the Hemlock Fire Department. My name is Chad Frazier. This is our chair, John Ellis, for the fire commission for the district. I don't believe I'm coming here looking for money. Which is a good thing.
What?
Not necessarily,
Not yet.
not necessarily. So fire chief, Miller and I have been in contact the past month or so talking about boundaries. And I know this was brought up last year.
Yeah, we talked about that in our meeting too,
Right.
and we got some pretty decent agreements.
I'm not 100% if they're 100% on board. But our plan of attack was splitting Canadice Lake Road right down the middle. Everything west would go to Hemlock, everything east would go to Hunyoy. With that being said, doing a little bit of investigating and running around and checking things out. Giving up our portion that we currently have now, we would lose 50 houses. But the new section gaining, we would also be gaining 13 residents or 6. Well, we would have 63 opposed to the 50 on this side. That we currently have, so we would gain 13 structures. I believe ballpark 13 structures. That doesn't include open land or anything like that. Going along with that, thing. to be like somewhere like remotely close and agreeing to this, I think we would have to have some kind of financial compensation of somewhere in the neighborhood of like $2,000 for those for those 13 homes. Am I wrong on any of that? No, you're okay. Awesome. Okay. Yes, the only thing that would hold this up at this point would be the lack of compensation or the lack of Richmond not agreeing to swapping out.
I think we're very close. We just need to confirm a couple of things, cause,
The candidates like Grove you were talking about.
yeah, so the problem is the maps that Livingston County, 911 provided for Chief Frazier and the maps that Ontario County 911 provided to me were very different.
Mhm.
Which is incredible.
So we lost my mind.
Not only were they very different, but even the way it reads in our contracts is also very different.
From our maps.
If you were to like look at their map, it shows we have the last two buildings on Curtis Hill for the apartments. According to the
geez.
contract, it says we have nothing. But Livingston County shows our district going right up the middle of Curtis Road Apartments, like their apartments are on our side and the.
Oh, you're splitting it that complex. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Very confusing. So I think we just need to confirm some things and we are very, very close.
yeah.
Well, this is the closest, because we've been talking about this for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Which I was not aware, so
Oh,
again,
yeah,
I'll tell you about
I'm
that.
just delighted. I'm delighted that we're working together
Welcome
on this.
aboard.
So thank you for that, and thank you for, collaborating, so if you can bring just some maps, just so the residents know about it, you know about it, and. Should be able to get that, maybe Encore. You check out the Ontario County website and get Encore, and, because those are pretty accurate maps. Maybe do an overlay, we have the technology, it's just a matter of using it.
So I just wanted to chime in a little bit. Again, my name's John Ellis. I'm 2 years now with the commission. I got 2 other relatively new, but they've been here before as commissioners, so I asked them to join us tonight. Not really knowing what to expect. I got the flyer from your office that said, it was gonna be a public hearing, and I felt that it was best that we come, and if there was people that had questions about the fire district, we could answer at least our portion. We kind of kicked this off last year, I think it was, or the year before. Because we were seeing it just made no sense to us where Richmond has to run through the Hemlock Fire District to get to their district that is part of their contract. And we have to run through Richmond's fire district
Absolutely,
to get to our
Yes.
contractual area, and it just made no sense, so.
correct,
I asked our chief and Richmond's chief, they all got together, I've met with their commissioners once. To kinda, let's all get on the same page, draw a new map if we have to draw. We can fix any map. We shouldn't be dictated by the map, we just gotta make sure it makes sense for all of the residents.
Right.
So
As
stop
Chad
signs.
said, we're really not looking for money this year. I came to you all last year, or I think Chad did, and we asked for a bit of an increase, which was granted. We were very pleased with that. The only difference, the only compensation we would be, like Chad said, would be like the tax dollars for those 13 homes that we'd be picking up. Estimated, it was like 1980 something, we were guessing. So that's where we came up with the $2,000. As a ballpark. And that was it, unless you have any questions for us.
Oh, very, very transparent.
You think you'll be able to get a hold of 911 and straighten them out?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, good luck with
I'll let
that.
you talk to Mark later about it.
I think we gotta have a map and we gotta have the description, right? So right now, the
Right.
description of the contracts don't coincide with any of the maps. And the 2 maps from the 2 counties don't coincide with each other.
So I think
Which
that's why it
makes no
shows
sense.
what we did is because it like literally makes it a rectangle for each district.
Mhm.
We went in not trying to split up any roads, but we just.
if you can give me something in writing, I do also work for the county, I could certainly bring that forward to say, come on. Let's get this fixed, and they might not be aware of it, as an outlier in the county, that's what happens. And when you're within the county and close to Canandaigua and Geneva, it's a different story.
Hmm.
But being way out here in Candace,
Let's get radios first.
I was gonna say, I'll get you a couple other letters you can take with you.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna do something for us, have them get a radio that works. You know, there's no police radio coverage in Canadice,
Seriously,
all the way down the Lake Road,
There's no radio coverage anymore.
all the way down, like Main Street from West Lake Road to the east.
are you talking radio or cell phone?
I'm
Radio.
talking wire radio, police radio. So when the cops are up here, they're on their own.
They're on their
It's
own.
all we,
Yeah.
Really?
I've
Yeah.
been fighting with
I'm-
them. for
Can I have a letter
months.
to say, this is first I've ever heard of this?
Yeah, I will absolutely send you a letter.
Absolutely.
I have been fighting with them
Years.
for months to try to get
Yep.
maps on what they say we have radio coverage for and.
Well, that too,
That's scary.
yes, yes,
They
yes.
literally call my daughter on the phone and say, are you okay still? I'm
Really?
serious.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
What would it take to straighten that out?
Right,
Radio towers.
radio towers,
More tax dollars.
yeah, taxes.
And we just did our 20.
Yeah, I look across the lake and I see a cell tower right there.
Yeah, but that's cell,
It's
that's
cell.
different.
This is the.
It's a
county
different
system.
frequency.
There's a
yeah.
tower over here that they shoot off of. There's one on Hunt Hollow they shoot off.
One up on Lawrence Hill. They've actually been working on that.
And the one in Lawrence Hill,
It's being reconstituted or under brand new construction?
Reconstituted.
Are they making it higher or just putting in?
Just new works on the inside.
Okay, thank you for that information. Yeah, if I can get something in writing, we can do something, but this is the first I've heard about this, any of this. The maps, the lack of radio coverage, that's not good.
Is it a matter of putting a transmitter on one of these towers? You got enough towers, just on a transmitter?
Oh, a co-location.
it worked up until about 6 months ago, Jesse.
6 months ago, we lost everything.
And then they lost it and they keep telling us there's not a problem. Up to 6 months ago, it worked flawless.
So this is something relatively recent.
Okay, all right. Well, that makes me somehow feel better, but
Yeah.
Well, so they were waiting on.
So it's
a part.
possible.
Yeah, they were waiting on a part, and so I was then informed that the tower was fixed. And we still had no radio coverage, so now I'm waiting for maps to be able to compare what used to be spotty versus what now has nothing.
They tested 2 weeks ago.
who's responsible? Do you know?
Terra County 911.
911.
Cool, there we
yeah.
go, okay. That's all I need to know. I need a letter, please,
I will get you some.
please. In fact, I'm going to a statewide conference for counties and I might even step into that arena. Say, hey, guys, here's what's going on in my county. Great, thank you.
Good.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the bottom line is roughly 1980 would work for you. And I'll take a look at the budget numbers and we're trying to do our budget. And that's what this is all about. Anyone else like to speak on the fire district hearings this evening? This is your last chance because I'm gonna make a motion to close that hearing.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? Those in favor of closing the hearing?
I
That carries. Thank you.
thank both of you for bringing the information. and
Absolutely.
sharing. It makes it a whole lot easier for us.
And it's also nice to have the numbers and this helps you as well.
Mhm.
And really, if you get those 22 and 23, then next year you'll already have that, and it's just adding another column and moving forward. Thank you.
We'll provide the same next year,
Please, that'd be helpful.
just now.
Yeah, just like 22, 23, 24 year to date, next year's budget. It just makes it real nice, easy to do with a spreadsheet.
Let's give them a chance to leave if they want to leave, then we can.
Yes,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
Or just we don't get interrupted then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The meeting's almost
Thank
over.
Thank you. We're just getting started.
I didn't mean to step on your toes.
Oh, no, that's great. I appreciate that. Well, I thought that was excellent.
Mhm.
So privilege of the floor, I did attend a New York State roundtable. Incredibly, there were 76 town supervisors that zoomed in. It was quite interesting, I can say that.
How do you get 76? Pictures on a monitor?
You
Bigger
don't,
monitor.
Oh.
no, no, you don't, well, you could, but you could tile it, I guess, but no, the Albany controls what that is, but then you can go in and look and that number kept fluxing throughout the meeting, but the good thing is the collaboration between the towns and Albany is better than ever. And lots of interesting information. And one of them was, one thing that came up was the home rule. The fact that towns over 50,000 population can change their speed limit. We can't. I sent another email to, and I copied Jeremy in the end of last month, just last week. And they said they were gonna have this done by June. Mid-June,
This one out here you're talking.
yeah, and we still haven't heard anything, yeah. And so anyways, that came up in the supervisor's meeting, so the Association of Towns Attorneys wanted us to give them as much information as we could. Folks like us that had the problem, I said, oh, we got the same issue. It was nice to hear that we weren't the only ones, so there's a number of smaller towns under 50,000 that are going through the same thing. The idea is trying to push some legislation for us so we can just do it ourselves. So that was one of the benefits of that meeting, plus budgeting things and a lot of things we already know, but I did attend an inter-county meeting with NISAC, and the good takeaway there is I got the sales tax revenues for the state, and we could see the trends. And just know we have to be conservative when we do our budget for the upcoming year, because we got a little bump when they did the internet sales tax, and now that we've got that contained, it's gonna kind of stay the same. It's gonna go down a little bit because of the short-term rental situation. As the short-term rentals get more and more business, the hotels are starting to see some occupancies, including in our county. We've got a lot of big-time hotel rooms going empty right now, and they shouldn't be,
Mhm,
because people are going to the short-term rental.
mhm.
And so that's gonna cause us a little bit of revenue until that changes, and Governor Hochul might sign it between Christmas and New Year's. That's the latest on that. On a positive note, I signed up for a couple recycling events, electronics recycling on the 14th, 21st, so any town assets. We're gonna be taking over to the various facilities. One is in Farmington and the other one is in Bristol. Communications, any questions on communications? The biggest one that might want to discuss is I am in discussions with the County Department of Sustainability to continue to support us with some of our green efforts, including the organics program, and they're very receptive to that. They'd like to see us somehow expand that. I'm just trying to figure out how to do that, and part of it will be perhaps partnering with Richmond a little more on different events.
And what is that program?
Well, we've got a little 5-gallon bucket in there, and
Yeah.
anything that can go into there, that's at $43 a month that they're supporting.
Okay. But what goes in the bucket?
I handed you a list of all those, but I can give that to you again, but basically, incredibly, any animal, fish, paper, anything but metal. And then it's best to just look at you can't believe what you can do with organics. It's different than composting.
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get Richmond involved. So I guess my question is there a tie to the Saturday morning thing that?
That's my
everybody
goal.
goes to?
That's my goal, because if we can do that, then all of a sudden it
But
changes.
what would
trends.
have to happen?
Well, people have to get educated.
Right, about what can go in a bucket.
Correct.
And
And
then-
that's a whole other thing, because some folks don't understand recycling, then we try to give them information what organics is. If you don't understand recycling, you're not gonna understand organics.
Organics
And contamination is an issue,
is huge.
and yet I did have a discussion, for instance, a soda bottle that has two dissimilar plastics. You have a colored plastic cap and then a little ring,
Mhm.
and then the cap, and then even a piece of paper that hasn't been taken off. They can still sort that in the MRF. And that's actually in the landfill report in that binder there.
Right,
So we've got all that information, but this ties in with the whole landfill discussion too. But if we get serious about recycling and organics and diversion and smart purchasing, we can perhaps keep the landfill open, expand the landfill, and save our town
right,
residents.
right.
So it's part of a bigger picture.
And so are you working with Daryl Marshall on this?
We had discussions.
Got it.
Daryl's got a lot on his plate. but-
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay,
And the more we can tie in, the better. So those community events and even involving the library. Also been trying to push the school, but the last superintendent was on her way out and she sort of resisted. But once we get the school involved, then we're really moving.
hmm
And they can get a separate grant, but again, we can still partner with the school.
okay.
Yep, good question.
And where do these
Yeah.
organics go? That's my quote.
Oh, there's a separate, so if you look outside.
No, I mean, after they pick them up, where do
They
they
go over to the land.
They go, it's called Impact Earth and it's essentially a vermiculture processing. So they feed the worms. So that's how they teach the fourth graders about it. So you're feeding the worms if you do it properly.
So this guy takes, whoever picks this up, it feeds his worms.
Basically, yes. It's a company, but yes. And Victor's doing it. Not every town's doing it, but the more towns that do it, the better.
Yeah, and then they're bagging the vermiculture and selling it to people.
Yep, and it's like, I call it black gold. It's just beautiful,
Uh-huh.
beautiful soil.
Yeah.
To amend.
Isn't the company in Rochester?
It's Impact Earth, yes. Yep.
Right,
They-
but aren't they in Rochester?
They are, there's no Ontario County company that's doing this, unfortunately, and I did try, but not yet. But someday.
Right, but it's not like it's going a huge distance away.
Correct. And they're getting materials from Orleans, Monroe. And Ontario County and
They got a
probably
lot of
Livingston, but I'm
worms.
not aware of that.
Hungry worms.
There's also a place in Wayne County that's doing the same thing, but I'm not familiar with their program. The counties really want partners quite nicely with Impact Earth. They're the ones that directed to do it this way.
Cool.
So it's been vetted by the Office of Sustainability. So. Anything else on here? Town clerk report.
Paying to the supervisor for the general fund, $2,726.98. To the supervisor for water billing, $9,868.42. DEC, $2,126.42. Animal population control, $13. And New York State Department of Health for marriage licenses, $90. For a total disbursement of $14,824.82.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve the town clerk's report.
Oh,
Second by Rick, those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Eileen.
Yep.
You got the historian report, so she got a nice little research on the post office. We actually found our postmaster in 1829, Mr. Doolittle. And I might even take this a little farther. We are looking for another historical marker in Canada. We haven't done much with that, but depending on how much time we've got to research, if we can find the structure that this man lived in, that might be a possibility. Is that of interest? That's for a few folks to help decide. So that was kind of a neat story. You look at all the different. The former postmaster was the town clerk, a justice of the peace. And he was a postmaster for 12 years. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And he's buried in Canada's Corner Cemetery. Okay. CEO. Anything to add to your report? Joe and I had a nice meeting. What's nice about Joe is we meet at least once a week and he gives me a summary of all the fun things that are going on. Today we had 6 cool things to talk about. So thank you for that. States are. Planning board, Ted Mayhood.
The planning board met on August 26th. Got a couple of things on the agenda. Recommendations for updates to the town code, go into that in a moment. The second one, which we have a site plan application for the use of Ewing, County Road 36. We started the review of that application. It's very complicated and we had raised lots of questions and we, updating our map and some of the information, but so we didn't act on it, we had to table it and we're waiting for more information, we'll take that up at the next meeting. A couple of other things, the comprehensive plan committee. The survey is online, it's live, it's on our town website. And also hard copies at the library. The plan that they have is gonna be mailing postcards to all the residents. Informing them of information about the comprehensive plan work. And how to participate in the survey, as well as timelines. In addition to that, they're planning a public engagement meeting, which is kind of open house style. And then they will be scheduling a public hearing. Once they get down the line, so a lot of action going. In the comprehensive plan committee. Couple of other things, Paul Miller, a member for about 8 years, has submitted a letter of resignation. Becoming a snowbird, so I'm not available. But we did get a new applicant for a planning board member this past week. We're going to interview him this week. I'm gonna go into the code updates, but does anybody have any questions about it? Okay. So, you may remember that you guys as town board of health have to continually review application and variances for on-site wastewater treatment systems. A little history, our chapter of town is chapter 92 called sewers. And it is almost identical to every other town around here with one major exception. Each of the towns, including ours, reference as a regulation, they reference appendix 75A, part 75, title 10, New York Code of Rules and Regulations. So our code uses and refers to that as regulating our town's activity in siting wastewater treatment. In addition to that, however, our town has gone stricter in terms of the setback requirements. This law, these regulations were put into effect around 2002. At the time, a lot of discussion, should they keep these large setbacks or relax them? Thinking from the minutes that we looked up, Eileen helped us find all that, thanks Eileen. Septic systems were not required to be engineered at that time, so anybody could put one in. And that was a major concern of the town board at that time. So they wanted to have a stricter setback regulation than what New York State called for. That's how we got to where we are. So if you read our chapter 92, which I have here, it says we will use this appendix 75A, which I also have here, which sets out the requirements. So our code, did you send them?
I did, yeah.
So I think you have a hard copy of what our current code calls for, chapter 92.
Yeah,
And again in chapter 120. And that's where we put the additional restrictions on setbacks. So the recommendation is that we would simply delete all references to those stricter regulations. So I gave you a copy, an actual copy of the page of the code, with a line through showing what we would delete. And the bottom line, basically, if anyone's interested, I do have what the New York State, what the appendix looks like. But the only change really is that it changes our setback property line, side and road from 80 feet back to 10 feet.
Yeah.
That's really the only change. So we're recommending, planning board is recommending that we delete those 7 lines from our town code. So we're giving that to you and that's our recommendation. Like I said, if anybody's interested in what that appendix looks like.
I'm delighted that this happens because it's gonna save everyone a lot of work and talking
Where
about
did
it.
all your variance requests? Or at least 99% of them. And Joe is fully on board.
Systems are engineered now.
Right, so
I mean, it's like
And
that overly, now it's overly restrictive and unnecessary.
I do have a question.
Sure.
For the town board about that, not, if that is pulled, will that eliminate the reason? For the town of Canada's to have a health board?
There might be other instances where we would have to act as a board of health, but
Okay.
that I'm not aware of. But there might be other instances, so we would still have to, occasionally we would, yes.
I was curious on the training side of it for the town board members.
Yep. But this saves everyone a lot of time and effort, and, I've talked to Bill Grove and a few other engineers about this as well, and we were the last.
Right, it's gonna save the taxpayers money too, because they're not gonna have to pay Bill to be on TV with us to get this.
Right.
approved.
Oh, yeah.
You won't have to attend the variance request.
Right, I mean, Bill
It's
doesn't come on
it's a
TV for nothing.
requirement in
Oh, absolutely.
75A.
No, we've been talking about this for 2 years, so we got it done, and I'd like to make a motion.
I'm sorry, we have
Oh.
a question.
I'm sorry.
So, is it a requirement in 75A that they must be engineered?
It's a requirement in our own code
That they must be engineered in a different
and signed
section?
by a licensed engineer. It's in our current code,
And that's a P.
section 92, so that was really a conflict.
Oh,
And it kind of undermined the argument way back then.
Right.
Because our chapter 92 does say that any design must be designed and signed by a licensed engineer
Engineer.
or architect or so it's already there, but we just were kind of mixing these things all together. So this will simplify everything.
and then it always comes to the CEO for a permit.
Oh, he has to go to the permit, yeah.
All septics.
And so
Love
that's
All septics.
the appendix.
Love it,
It
is
just, once it
maintained.
fell out of that parameter, he had to refer to us, then we could,
right,
we're almost like a ZBA in effect.
right.
That's basically what we were.
Right.
Yep, it looks
I'd
good.
like to make a motion that we adopt the planning board's recommendation.
I second that, and any more discussion on that?
I,
So we want to get the town code updated. It's gonna take some time because we have a number of things to update it. But officially, we are adopting these changes as recommended by the planning board. And Ted, thank you for your diligence on this, and Joe also being in the loop. It really helps everybody out, including our taxpayers. And thank Eileen for the
Thank you, Eileen,
research,
for the
as
research.
always, Eileen, always.
She came up with minutes from 2002.
That's why we have records.
And then the last thing is by referring to the Article 70, Appendix 75, New York State will update it at their
Exactly.
whenever. And then Joe, who issues permits, would adjust his permit application as necessary.
Oh.
So we're referencing it to the state code. We don't have to maintain it ourselves.
Right, the authoritative source.
And the
becomes
state codes are being updated next year. Jim Keir was telling us yesterday. So no, we got 13 more books for next year.
Yes.
We'll chat about that later.
So that's it for planning board. So it's in your hands. You know, or Eileen will know how to process. I mean, you have to have it go to the
We're actually gonna pay
attorney,
somebody to
you
go
have
through our code book.
attorney and the whole
You got it.
process.
We're gonna batch process. So this is one reason I wanted to get this going, because we got a number of things to batch process to update our code book, which has some areas. And if you have anything else to see in the code book, anybody, please feel free to let us know and we'll get it.
And I raised the records management code last year, that also needs to be updated.
Okay.
Okay,
And just so to make sure to circle back with Eileen and myself, just to make sure we get.
I will,
Because we're
I will.
actually, this is happening with, may even do it before the end of the year.
Thanks.
So I do have a question.
Oh, sure.
In the past, code updates have been charged to planning board budget. We didn't put any money into our budget requests for code updates, but you're saying there are going to be additional ones. And we'll submit we'll amend our request.
Mhm.
Whatever you gotta do.
2025 budget.
Whatever
I
you
don't know
gotta
how much it costs, but we'll figure out.
Yeah, whatever you gotta do.
We did not include it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure you're gonna continue to pay for it through planning board funds.
Which part again? The,
Code
Update-
updates.
updates
Yes,
to
yeah,
code.
Always come out of planning board.
right, yeah, of course, yes,
But
absolutely.
we haven't,
Yeah.
I didn't budget for it for the 2025.
Please, can you just get that to me? Cause not everyone's gotten their budgets to me anyway, so we're
Okay.
definitely, I appreciate you doing yours on time. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Did we actually vote on the motion?
We did
No.
not.
no, not yet.
We did
Just
not
a
vote.
motion and
We
second.
were discussing. It was a long discussion, but it was a good one. Those in favor?
Alright,
All right, that is adopted. Thank you again. Okay, ZBA, the minutes came to me and I did forward them to you, so you see the minutes from the last meeting. Other than that, no report from besides the August.
I
14th.
assume they're pretty recent.
Well, yeah, I got them yesterday, so I emailed them to you yesterday.
Oh,
It's from the August 14th meeting.
got it.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, highway superintendent.
All right, so, Lawrence Hill Road project on the north and south. We did a 3-inch cold mix pave overlay and then did a double surface treat last week, which extended all the way onto the dead end portion of the road as well, that we did full depth recycle stabilization on. So minus putting down new shoulders, which is on the agenda for next week, we are done with road projects on the capital improvement side. We've also been busy helping the towns of Richmond and Naples and also Ontario County with their paving projects and also chip sealing. Took a little time to do some housekeeping around our storage lots. You know, early this spring, it was so wet, we didn't have any place to dump ditching spoils, so we were stockpiling quite a bit down at the bottom of Birch Hill on Canada's Lake Road. So we had a bunch of residents that stopped us while we were working and were requesting fill, so we finally had a chance to deliver them some fill and then haul back what we were saving down there for ourselves. Roadside mowing's moving along slowly. Seems like every week there's a breakdown. Last week we replaced the bearing on the main cutter shaft. He went back out the following day, mowed for 2 hours and found a wire over the guide rail down on 36 and took out the bearing on the other side.
Yeah.
And those are $550 bearings a piece. So he's back up and running. He finished 36 today. We've got Cratsley Hill and Jersey Hill to do, and then he's finally done with the second pass.
To take down those stakes.
What's that?
To take down those stakes.
Yeah, no, he knows they're there. So I included a financing proposal. I've got a phone call. About 2 weeks ago, saying that our 2025 Western Star cabin chassis was at the dealership. Even though it wasn't supposed to be built until the fourth quarter of this year. I knew it got bumped up because there's a Allison automatic transmission shortage. So everybody who has a manual transmission, which is what our truck was spec'd at, got moved up in line. And so yeah, it was kind of sprung on me. Yeah, your truck's here. You need to pay for it. So I got a proposal from Real Lease, who we have a couple of finance terms with right now. And I did reach out to Key Government Finance, who is actually has the lease on the most recent truck, but I never heard back anything from them, so. And then while I was talking to Mike over at Real Lease, I told him we were kind of playing around with an option of buying a second mowing tractor. So the second sheet on here, he just lumped both of those into one big figure. And then I also included a breakdown of the different mowing tractor options.
So, one thing I'm considering proposing is that maybe we pay cash for the mower, maybe. And
Yeah,
then
you had mentioned that.
we might want to do that, especially with the rates that are going south pretty quick. That being said, the rates will probably go down before we've got to sign this. If there's any way to reach out and see if we can lower that interest rate, it'd be worth asking.
Yeah.
Because they might go down a quarter, it might go down a half, I
Right.
don't know. But that could save us some money too.
Right.
And again, I want to just bring it up to the board. There's,
Because the feds meet this week, right?
yes.
Yeah.
And
they
I'm making
do.
some moves, I'm making some moves tomorrow. Because we know they're gonna go down, we just don't know how much and how quickly.
Right, you know, if you want to
hold off on, a resolution for the lease for just the truck until the budget meeting or something like that.
Or,
So
yeah,
I,
definitely, yeah, definitely the budget meeting. I didn't prepare one because of this, everything that's going on. So,
Right.
you know,
Right.
I think by the 24th, we'll have a good idea on where we're at and have enough time to get back to them. And can you reduce the rate?
Right, yeah, cause I'm, the only thing is priority with the truck payment anyways, because he's gonna start
Chassis.
charging us a lot fee
exactly.
Yeah,
for every month that truck sits there on the lot that
Yeah.
it hasn't been.
it just got to be executed before October 1st, which would be plenty of time because the
Right.
24th shouldn't have any problem. with that.
So I had another idea,
Sure,
cause I got looking at, you know, reserves and where we are.
we don't technically have any of those,
I
but
understand,
just to be, yeah.
but here's my thought, okay, and I can show you the math. Cause, when I did the math on what it's gonna cost for that lease, it's $50,000 over 5 years. And so if we paid cash and split it between highway and general, and then we take the lease payment that we've avoided and add that to the value of the truck when Jeremy sells it, we can cover both the mower and the truck without getting crazy.
Right.
And it would help us keep things in line.
Right, that's why we paid cash for the truck.
It's just a thought, and like I
Absolutely.
say, I can show you the math.
Sure, well, that was my thinking with the mower, so, yeah, take a look at that. Yep, I like it, I like it.
The value on the truck that we will be selling, it probably won't be as much as you would hope it would be, because
It
it's
needs,
the oldest.
it needs to be
oldest-
like 40,000.
I think around 40,000 is what I'm shooting for anyways.
There you go.
It's the oldest truck in the fleet, it's still got the painted body on it, and it is very rusty, and
Whose truck is that?
Paul's truck.
How many miles are on it?
That's the saving grace. It's a Mack, and it has very low miles on it because most of the time he's sitting in a machine and not driving his truck. So the most amount of miles that truck has on it is snowplow.
Snowplow, up and down the hills.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put some miles I haven't do the Naples route.
Yeah, I think his truck only has like 60,000 miles on it.
Wow.
See, that's great, 'cause the contractor will suck that right up.
Right.
Mhm.
Now, I'm lost looking at this tractor, which tractor are you, the Massey Ferguson, I take is the one you're looking at?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
smaller
one,
Massey
the one that's
Ferguson
highlighted.
with just a side mount mower.
And that's equal to what we have now.
Right now, we have 100 horsepower with a 22-foot boom.
Mhm.
And this would be
So this is just a up and down
okay,
side mower.
okay.
So,
It's more limited piece, but
right, the idea is that this tractor would go out and mow from the edge of the road to the ditch, and then the ditch mower can come along and catch the backside of the ditch.
So
You
we,
know, and then, you know, on areas like down here on the corner of Birch Hill and 37, where there's that huge wide open triangle, this second mower can get in there and do all of that while the ditch mower is catching up to them.
Mhm.
so we'd have to hire a second guy to run it then?
The plan would be just to use whoever's available. I would jump in it if I had time. You know,
No, that's what I was hoping you were
right,
saying.
there's
I might apply for that.
There's a lot of times where we're working on a project where I don't necessarily need all 4 guys there.
Mhm.
You know, and I could peel a guy off and stick him in the mower, but I'm gonna be honest with you, there's probably gonna be times that there isn't gonna be anybody in.
Right. Yeah, but if you can save wear and tear on that boom mower,
Mhm.
Yeah,
that's gonna help a lot.
yeah, that mower is, this is the 5th season I'm using just the mower attachment on the boom. And, I mean, it's been nothing but repairs it, like every week something breaks on it, whether it's a
Every week.
hydraulic hose or a
Sometimes,
bearing.
sometimes twice a day.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the other discussion was about that boom mower. We're gonna have to replace that too.
That's on,
It's on the schedule.
2027.
I think it's on for next year.
Is it?
So this way, just in case we got a problem with getting one, it breaks and we can't fix it, we've got an asset.
Mm-hmm,
So that's what,
mm-hmm.
that's another reason. we're doing this.
So.
The guys aren't
if-
gonna give you a hassle getting it, I'm sorry.
That's
Go ahead.
okay.
The
No,
guys aren't gonna give you a hassle, you say, hey, I don't need you today, you're gonna be mowing.
No,
They probably love it.
No, that's,
I remember when Paul used to mow.
no, I'm just asking because some of these guys know I don't,
right, I
I don't
don't
mow
know,
well.
right,
I'm a truck driver, I'm a
right,
it
equipment
doesn't
operator.
matter anyways. It all pays the same, whether you're driving a
I-
truck, if you're pushing a broom, it all
I-
pays the same.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
exactly. It's, yeah, it's the mindset,
Yes,
yeah. Okay, and so if you don't have an answer tonight, are you okay?
On the
On
lease.
How you're
for the
gonna,
truck,
how you're
yeah,
gonna hand
yeah.
him money for the 10-wheeler?
Right, yeah, no, I'm good until the end of the month.
Cool,
We know we're gonna move on both. We're just not sure exactly how.
how,
Right.
So I'm delighted with what Kate said. So certainly want to take a look at that. Save
Okay.
us some money and interest.
okay,
Okay.
I'll show you.
Yeah, besides, seeing that I didn't have any warning that this truck was even
I know,
built and on the way, he can wait for a little bit as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it was a surprise one day when Jeremy came in and said, oh.
he should have given me a warning
Oh, yeah,
because he knew it was coming.
yeah, well, as soon as that truck goes into the assembly line, he's issued a VIN.
Right,
And at that point, he knows that the truck is being built.
and, but this will make that truck available to you for winter.
Probably not, because the outfitter isn't expecting it until February.
Shoot,
Just good
okay,
chance.
okay.
So we're looking into that as well to see if the availability.
Well, the CEO
on-
could drive it.
Yeah, yeah, right now it's hydraulics. They most likely will have the snow plows and possibly the dump bodies, but whether they have the hydraulic components for it, it might not happen.
And I want to ask the board a question, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just so I don't have to write up 4 resolutions, because I'd be writing one for cash, one for the lease.
Right, right.
For 2 different assets. Why don't we come to an agreement now, what we want to pay cash for, how does that sound? Any discussion?
I mean, if we're gonna save enough money,
You're saving $50,000.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a big nut.
Yeah,
so let's pay cash for both, or the truck,
it's definitely doable.
both. I know the money's there, it's just, I have to know that ahead of time, because.
I know. I know.
I gotta make sure I got
And
enough.
no, the other thing I was
Money to-
thinking was pretty soon,
And when would that cash be due is a big thing I would wanna know.
soon,
When and how much would they need?
RSN.
See, that's the thing with the financing is because the payment wouldn't be until next year.
Right,
Right,
The
But it's-
cash would be due
you need cash in
when he delivers that
October.
truck to Viking
and
Yeah.
that would be,
October,
next month.
yeah,
okay, oh, so like after the 16th board meeting?
We can make it then.
Or we got a meeting on the 14th, I got
Right.
CDs coming due on the
Right.
16th, we should be fine.
So you pay a lot fee for a month.
right,
No, you don't pay,
Yeah, no, we won't pay any.
You won't
we
pay
won't
anything.
any lot fee. I'll make
Yeah.
sure that doesn't happen.
No, that's, yeah, I can make it work.
If he wants to keep doing our business, I'll make sure that doesn't happen.
yeah.
Can you just give
Cause
me,
there's another Western Star dealer right down the road in Buffalo.
can you
Well,
get,
I'm always in favor of paying cash if we can do it,
we can,
always.
I just wanna make sure I've got the money before I write the
Yeah, wait
check.
till the 16th till the CDs do, and then we'll be all set.
exactly,
And you'll tell them that you have the money by the 20th of October.
right. There you go,
Or 21st,
right,
22nd.
right,
Yeah, we should be fine. Yeah, just give me those figures and, so, we'll make a motion to pay cash for both the truck and the mower.
mhm,
Is there a second? Second.
second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Everybody's
And
good?
who made the motion, please?
Mark,
Thank you.
stole your thunder.
Mhm.
I'm a ventriloquist. Okay, that's fine.
Because like the 16th is a Wednesday, the 21st will be like a Monday, so you're here.
There
Yeah,
you
just
go.
like a little float, yeah,
So he wouldn't have to deal with real lease at all then?
Right,
right.
Okay,
And it just saves us the time and labor of even cutting a check every time. It takes
Right.
time to, in accounting, yeah. I'm all
That's
in.
just
I love it.
paying for the truck. That's not paying for the,
exactly. Now we've gotta do something
For
for
the
the,
equipment.
Yeah, that's just paying for the truck,
For
which
the
is,
front end, yeah.
164, 841.
yes.
right,
Yeah, just give me those numbers and rough idea when, because again, with the rates starting to go down, I've gotta move some things
Mhm.
into different pots.
right.
Yep, thank you. Anything else for the highway report?
So I have. Oh, watch the map. We installed the last 50 feet today on Purcell Hill and the corner of Canada's Hollow Road. Possibly hydro seeding tomorrow afternoon. If not, it'd be next week. And then I can turn all my information over to Soil and Water and get reimbursed.
Question,
Yes.
would it be better to hydro seed after this big rain we're gonna have on Saturday? Big rain, like half an inch at least.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't think it's gonna happen tomorrow anyways. The county short staff, so he didn't seem like he was gonna have a driver available.
Cause we had something we were doing on County Road 33 and it got all washed out. We had to find another $5,000 to do it all over again. But it's a good look at the weather forecast.
Right.
I know Saturday's not good. Thanks. Watershed Task Force, Terry.
3 things. We had a complete lake mixing event on August 10th after the lake was stratified for 5 or 6 weeks. About a week later, we started having our traditional late summer blue-green algae blooms. It was really bad yesterday, still bad today. And there's nothing new about this. The lake has behaved like this forever, except with the DEC elm treatment, we should not be seeing this level of blue-green algae. Ontario County has ordered the boat cleaning station. They don't have a confirmed delivery date, but expect to get it in October. And third, Betsy Landry was planning to end the weed harvesting and shoreline pickup last week, but she ran half days this week. The crew that drives school buses come and worked on the lake in between the morning run and the afternoon run.
really?
They were there yesterday. Yeah. Judy and,
But this will be the last week. She's gonna pull the equipment on Friday.
do you have those pictures?
Yes.
Oh,
Do you wanna see them?
I'll wait till Terry's done.
That was my last
I
point.
got some pictures of that. I took of the weed harvest. I did a site inspection on a beautiful sunny day. And it's nice that we have the shared services from, you'll see a Village of Naples truck, which they let us use once again.
There's the harvester,
Yeah,
there's a load going into the truck. And there's the name.
and it does a great job for us.
What do they do with the leaves?
They give them to folks that want them.
Yeah, grape farmer. They're awesome under grapevine.
It's organics.
Yeah.
But it's waste.
Can you fill that little bucket?
We could real fast.
How does the TEC not classify that as hazardous material? My ditchings are classified as hazardous material. I have to have
Really?
residents sign a waiver when I haul ditchings to their house.
I'll tell you, the brush pit is full of weeds right now. Full of weeds.
From them dumping it down there?
Oh, no, from residents.
Oh.
I helped a lady unload her truck this afternoon when I was over there. She, brings like bucket after bucket of kitty litter buckets just full of these weeds. There's a lot of weeds in there right now. There always is this time of year.
The Richmond pit, you mean?
Yeah, the one right over here on East Lake Road.
East Lake Road.
Yeah.
There are people who don't.
You did say Richard, thank you. I just want to make sure you don't run over on Cross Road.
No.
Okay. Thank you for that. Kate, thank you for bringing those pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I know I can do that again.
Sure,
That was a test.
anytime.
Assessor's report's been filed. And we'll have a resolution regarding assessor later. I did include a little bit of budget because some budgets came in on time, so I just gave Kate just did a tremendous job, and what I like of all the reports I got, what was nice about this is the notes on the side too, just so if there's a question, oh, there it is. So, just to see where we're at, and I like what you put. Assuming interest rate drops, if you're it's conservative, we're probably a pretty good.
Oh, yeah,
number.
yeah. So the other thing, and I'm sure you see it in the notes, I looked at the contract that you sent from Monroe County Water Authority. And the agreement is a 40-year term. The effective date was March of 2014. And then in the contract is how our rate is figured. It's 100%, 110% of the cost at the Richmond connection, which makes sense. So Richmond gets 10% above what they're paying. And then it's the CIP surcharge that Richmond incurs for their construction. And you know, as I did the math, I just backed into the CIP. Dave Rowley wants to have a discussion about Rochester Waterworks and their rates. And I did find a labor rate error as I was putting things together. And so I reported that to the
Ms. Christine.
administrator,
Yep.
yeah, that does the invoice for us every month. So there's another $500 in expense that we'll have in this year. But I would expect Dave Rowley to want to increase their expenses, I'm gonna say modestly. And so that's also on the expense side of this budget.
Okay, yeah, if you want to update that before we actually really input the numbers and get that.
It's actually in here already. I said based on 2023 plus 25%,
Okay,
25%, and then a 25% increase in rate.
Okay.
So,
right. Thank you.
yeah,
The monthly water report didn't come through, but we'll just bundle that with. for the next-
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, anything else there? The financial report, I talked to some of you prior to the meeting because we just got that printed today. We didn't have time to thoroughly review it. There's just to let you know, on the back, there's a couple CDs on there, the wrong dates on there. I did get a couple things fixed, but I didn't catch everything. So those CD 1347 is actually 1016 and 5700 is 1016. Those are the ones I was just talking about, actually. So. I mean, and then there's a couple other little things, but we'll peruse that. The next meeting, but you have time to look at all.
Great, thank you.
Sure. And there are some transfers we're gonna make, and again, we'll approve those at the workshop meeting, just some budget transfers. And that just came in today too. I didn't change the agenda.
And that'll fix the credits on the expenses.
It sure should.
Okay.
Yep. Unfinished business at this time.
Do your supervisor's report.
That's what I just did.
Oh, that was.
So when
Yeah, but we're not gonna
Take on
okay it tonight. Yeah,
that,
So you're looking at okaying it at the budget workshop meeting?
right.
yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, all right.
Everybody time to go
That's what
over.
I thought. That's okay.
Yep, thank you. Good to check, good for the minutes. Tabling supervisors report. Everyone's in agreement. Unfinished business, Councilman Stat has agreed to join us once again for 2 meetings on the 5th and 18th for our union contract negotiations and 3 items to work out. We're in agreement on the other 14 points. Again, another day of service is coming up. I'll probably even talk about it again. If you're interested in helping out, that'd be great. And if you have things you want done in your department, let us know. We've got able bodies that want to learn. We are working on the migration from Candidates.org to CandidatesUyork.gov. We, seems like we always got a snag or two.
I put in a service ticket Friday.
Yep, I've got that here.
And I haven't heard back yet, so that I owe them a call tomorrow morning at approximately 8:05.
Any thoughts on what you wanna do with the signs?
I think we need to, well, Eileen, you were gonna talk to somebody.
So I can take him to, well, I don't wanna take this, all the signs down and take him to Northern, but he can make something to put probably over the.
Right, over the
top of
bottom.
The bottom.
Like I say, Eileen had half a plan. I don't know where she is with it. Let me check with her. Oop, there she is. You're
I'm not
not on-
anywhere with it.
Is it on the to-do list?
I don't remember, I thought it was Ewing that did the signs before, but Jeremy said no.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
I saw it in the files that I have from Mark Momender. It was all done by Ewing.
Wow.
Cause
Joey
I think they would,
Them?
I mean, we can consult with him and see what his suggestion is.
Right,
I'm not involved in this one though.
yeah,
I don't mind calling him.
Oh,
okay. And if you need anything from when the signs were done, I've got all that back up.
Okay.
so signs aren't correct, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, the .org is on all the signs as you come into Canadice.
That.
Right, right.
I'm sorry,
Yep, the metal signs.
gotcha.
Yep,
Okay, I thought you were talking about those signs, the cameras,
No,
camera signs, okay.
no, God, no.
I have one in here if anybody needs to look
We
at
could
it
just
up
do a little-
close.
Just something, yeah, we could do an overlay, not that.
Yeah, but you don't want it to look cheesy.
And it's gotta hold up to the weather.
So we're
Exactly.
gonna take down those signs.
Well, we're gonna
Well,
do,
we'll figure it out.
we gotta do something. Yeah,
They'll handle it.
yeah,
It's gotta be
Yeah.
good.
it's gonna be handled.
It's
yes.
being handled.
I got
Yes.
people.
All we need's money, yeah.
This is not in the budget.
Won't cost any.
Oh, gosh. So, yes, that will go, and we're making certain that, oh, speaking of the comp plan, I did forward to that Eileen's got a water billing going out.
Mhm.
And
Well, it's not a billing, it's the notice that's required to go out for the,
so there's an
assessment.
opportunity.
Yeah.
I did email them and I don't think I copied you in
They
the.
got me on it.
Okay, good, just so people know. Okay. We already talked about number 4. So new business. Resolution to set public hearing for special assessment role for Water District 1 capital improvement.
Motion
cost.
to approve.
Second,
I second.
those in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to block resolution 2 and 3, executing snow contract within Ontario County and also the contract with Ontario County for service on County Road 36 within the town of Naples.
I move.
Second,
So I have a question on both of these.
all right, I'm sorry, who seconded?
Terry,
Terry?
Mark
Thank
and
you.
Terry, Yeah.
We
Thank
have
you.
discussion?
Yes, go ahead.
So I looked at last year's resolution and the notes that I had on those.
Yep.
At what point does the rate increase? Because labor increases.
Well,
over
the
time.
fuel cost went down, and when we looked at everything, it seemed to be,
Still,
yeah.
We do all right with there. We're
We're making,
not
money.
losing money.
We're
Okay.
making money.
okay,
Actually, don't tell Naples that, but yeah, we're making,
okay,
Unfortunately, this year,
we got the extra 1,000 too.
done, you're right, but that also hasn't changed year over year,
Well, because the fuel cost. No.
okay?
Yeah. we.
Just checking,
Oh, no, this,
okay,
The county put together a separate salt bid this year. Which actually reduced the price of road salt probably $13-14 for a ton compared to what we were paying last year. But unfortunately. The OGS price. Is $2 cheaper than what our new county price is, so. we just can't wait, you know, we're trying to make it a little more affordable for us, but.
You know, just like our
By,
propane.
by all the towns agreeing to go with the Ontario County
County.
bid price, we didn't submit our quantities for OGS, and so now we're out of the OGS, price rate cut.
But the salt we're getting is better. There's gonna be less chunks and rocks.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
there
Oh,
was,
that's cool.
quite a few issues with, I didn't have any, but a lot of the other towns with, salt coming from Cargill over in, Lansing last year.
Hmm,
Yeah,
okay.
so-
Cleaner mix is a good thing,
Mhm.
so. Okay, any more discussion on those two resolutions?
Nope, we're good.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you for the question. Town hall lot restriping, Jarzynski Brothers, are they set?
He replied to my email last week and informed me that they are in college now. And they weren't sure if they would be able to fit it into their schedule.
Cool.
Oh, I thought.
So I was unaware that they were actually college students.
Oh, God, they're only 20 years old. Yeah, they're twin 20-year-olds.
So anyways, I told them, well, keep me in touch. Any weekend works. Mondays and Fridays
Right.
are good days because nobody's
Can you
here.
drop my name that I'm town supervisor? Because I taught both of them. They're great kids.
right.
Seriously, can you just say, Mr. Vastol would just love it if you came over?
And I did,
Seriously?
I did reach out to, Shuttleworth. They're the ones that painted it last year,
Okay,
through, the Rustin contract. And I'm waiting to hear back from him. With a quote.
but as long as it gets done within the next 6 weeks, we should be fine.
Right.
When the-
I still got, my line scrapers on the roads are coming back probably in August, so we got a little time,
August and October.
or October, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, next year.
Next year.
Well, just, it'll be nice to get regular parking spots again. We've seen all kinds of things. If you got lines, it kind of helps people.
Right.
See lots of cool.
You got a problem with my parking?
Well, I know, I never see your parking.
Between the lines.
Should we go out and look?
I
got
used to
cameras.
get feedback all the time and I would tell people, they don't pay me to park.
Well, That way says Mike. should be.
That's right.
I know, I'm always here when you get here and I'm still here when you leave. so
There.
Can't help you.
You're so dedicated.
Okay, again, I talked about number 5 earlier.
Mhm.
Town budget draft will have to you. I want to get it to at least 5 days before the meeting, if not sooner, so when you see that come in. And I might even give you that before the pack, at least the opportunity to see it.
Cool.
Does that makes sense? Approval of the bills,
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
a second,
Second.
any discussion, anything you saw? Those in favor?
Hi.
Thank you. The NISAC state conference is coming up, the county's supporting me with that. A lot of neat courses that I'm taking that'll benefit the town, and one of them is I might step into an IT summit. To be kind of neat to see. On a side note, I guess it's another privilege of the floor number 4, I mean, I attended an FLCC symposium and it was on artificial intelligence. And honestly, the leadership team that was there, I was with the trustees and the department heads, professors, I was delighted to be invited. The AI is now in its 4th generation. And I think when you think you're on top of things, you're not. Stuff is happening so fast. And many different metrics coming out, but the ones that caught me is some of the ones with demographics with kids. By 2034, there'll be more kids 18 and under than there are people 65 and older. And you can see that's part of the social security problem. The challenge with these kids is in 4 years, the number of kids getting driver's licenses has dropped 27%. And I started asking kids, I asked 2 kids that work at CVS if they got their license. She says, no, why do you ask? I go, I'm just curious. And then, there's lots of reasons for it, but the world's changing faster than we know it. And another metric was And it has to do with the socialization skills and the smartphones and the hippocampus is 40% of what it was in 1960. That's our brain, because we're not using our brain,
Mhm.
and that's everybody.
Mhm.
And they're talking about artificial intelligence where it's learning, and they just want a whole myriad of jobs that are gonna go away, and even in this town, 40% of those jobs are gone because of AI. And it's gonna happen real fast. So, it could provide you that information, it's incredible, and then there was something in today's paper about it too, so. And we've got to rethink everything, and so now you can take a 2-week course, micro-credential course in AI. And if you know what questions to ask AI, then know how to edit, do you know what you'll make a year? If you're in the top 20 percentile, guess what you'd make a year with a 2-week course? $375,000 a year.
To do what?
AI writing the questions and then editing.
Oh. Okay.
But it's baffling.
Mhm.
There were some real smart people there.
You give me the information on that position.
Right.
Well, I know, that's what I was like.
No kidding.
Micro credentials AI, I'd be glad to give it. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So there's lots of micro credentials out there. So the 4-year degrees. The colleges and universities are gonna struggle in many fields, and you got all this student debt and you can't do anything because everything's changed.
Gotcha.
Many jobs, and most of them are clerical. That landfill report is there. I did forward that's the draft report. I forwarded the corrections to you. This is a decision we have to make by the county by the end of the year. The Seneca County just tabled a resolution to not expand their landfill. Whatever they do is gonna have repercussions on ours. Ideally, this is my opinion. Based on what I've learned, originally I thought nothing was better than the closed landfill. Now I know that it would cost Candice residents more money. And the environmental impact might be negative, still waiting on the information. If we close, because all that garbage has gotta go that much further, and we'd have to pay for our recycling. We have to pay for our recycling, are people gonna recycle
No,
as much?
no,
Probably not.
no. Everybody will have a burn barrel.
So I request input from the board, from residents. We'll have to have we're gonna have 2 forums. The county said they looked at all the town websites and they picked 2 dates that didn't have any conflicts, and one of them is September 24th. Another September 25th, and I raised a little stink, say, well, geez, candidates, we got a budget workshop. So there's gonna be 2 hearings right now. They're tentatively scheduled for the public to get public input, because that information's out there. What does the public think of the report? What does the public think we should?
Where are the hearings?
Still to be determined. One probably in Geneva and one somewhere on the western side of town.
Okay.
Hopefully Richmond or Bristol or Bloomfield.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that second one's on the 25th, because if Geneva's on the 25th and the one right in town's on the 24th, I'm not gonna be happy. And I don't know if we can get things changed. I don't know if we'd want to, it'd be hard for us to change our date too. Between a rock and a hard place.
Do you have the statistics on what it would cover for the residents, for the increase in cost on the residents?
It's in there.
Report?
It's a rough idea. It's a rough idea, and it's there for every town, every municipality.
And that's only based on the Ontario County landfill. That's not based on any other landfills around us.
Right, because if you look at like at Mill Creek, the modern, all these other landfills, as they expand or contract or stop, eventually things are going to Ohio. And incredibly, not all of our waste goes to Ontario County. It gets shipped out. In fact, you look at a street, how many different people are picking up? Jeremy, you probably know more than I do. How many different companies are picking up? 4?
3 different companies in town, I think, that pick up garbage.
Now, wouldn't it be more efficient if one company picked up everybody?
But I
Instead
think-
of all these trucks running around?
I think 2 of those companies actually delivered to Steuben County.
Well, there's some, like some of Naples goes to Steuben, yes.
Right, and in my geographic location, it's actually more efficient for me to go to like the transfer station in Wayland than it is the Ontario County.
To go to Richmond.
Well, is Richmond part of the Ontario County landfill, the company that does that, they go to Ontario County or? Steuben
That's a
County?
great question. That's a great question.
Because I thought that company goes to the Steuben County.
K&D,
Yeah.
yeah, the recent,
Yeah, they run that way when they run.
yeah, I don't know, they might go Waterloo.
Yeah, they go, yeah, to Waterloo, yeah.
Yeah. So, all those,
Seneca Meadows landfill is gonna be closed.
no, they're looking at an expansion, but they tabled it. It was just in today's news. So if you
Yeah.
read the newspaper tomorrow, it should be there.
It was on the news this morning.
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, I don't have, watch TV, but I listen to the radio and read the paper.
Yeah. So,
So, those things are important and what's wanted, how do we get that information out to our residents?
right, quickly,
Yes. And that's where the info.gov would, or info at CanadaNewYork.gov comes in.
Couldn't a
And-
flyer go in the mailing I'm gonna be doing?
That's, I'm so glad you offered that. Yes, one could.
It's only part of the town, but it could go in there.
When is that going out?
soon.
We talked about the mailing somewhere between the 17th and 18th.
That'd be perfect, because the county should nail down those dates. As of yesterday's meeting, they had not. But the tentative dates were, again, the 24th and 25th. And an eastern and western location at the county that's large enough to hold.
Do we have the potential of having to move our budget meeting? And move it?
It'd be
soon?
really hard. Everything's been, legal
know.
notices have been published.
It'd be, I'm between a rock and a hard place.
Got it,
I'm between a rock and a hard, I was crushed when I heard that yesterday. Oh my God.
okay,
Just when you think you got everything done,
right,
so.
I wouldn't even consider moving it till he knows for sure.
Right, right. And, you might see something in an email before I do, because I try not to look at my email 24 hours a day. So, stay tuned on that. Privilege of the floor.
Have you executed the town contract with Suburban Propane?
It's a good
The
question.
reason I asked, about 2 weeks ago, I called and they had no record. I've been a Suburban Propane customer for 22 years.
Right.
And they had no record of Town of Canada's contract.
Really?
It's probably who you were talking to, because Krista has been speaking with Tracy Joe to get the contract.
I'm all set, I prepaid, and that was all.
Well, I just.
And they
ju-
received the resolution.
Yeah, but I just called the number you call. And she had a database and said the Town of Canada's was not in it.
She's not in the know then, because I've got, even before the town made any decision, I had a contract from Tracy Joe.
You're talking to Dansville or you're talking the 1-800 number?
I'm talking to Rochester supply.
No, no, no.
Dansville.
call Dansville,
Call Dansville.
call the,
Dansville.
yeah, the
Yes,
Your
33
local,
the 335 number.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's right on your bill.
don't call the
Right on your
889
invoice.
number.
Yeah,
They have the list, Terry, of all of you as well as. the
Yeah.
members.
Cause I was done. before.
Negotiated already.
All right, I will call that Suburban Propane in Dansville tomorrow.
335.
right.
For what it's worth,
Okay.
I'm feeling comfortable with Superior.
Mhm.
I contacted NOCO. And they actually gave me a better price than the employees were getting.
Cool.
Good job.
You're gonna stick to
You're a
that,
fierce
right?
negotiator.
Nah, well,
I'm just
But then
saying,
you own your own tank, then.
I have my own tank,
Partially,
we need to get our own tank.
You know? Oh, and that being said, I went over to the pump station and as you know, our tank is oversized, so if we're gonna buy a tank, it's gotta be significantly smaller than the one in that tank is used to heat the generator, not the pump house itself, so. It's good to make a site visit.
It looks like the tank needs some maintenance. I was there the other day. It looks pretty rough.
Yeah, well, I cleaned it off, I pulled the weeds out and had the city watching me do that, but I got it done. But they grow back fast. I go back and look, go away, I pulled those. Got the vines up, there was a little rodent nest inside the cap.
Bet you Jeremy's got some road salt that'll come take care of it.
Is that right?
I would almost bet.
You know. Boss, next time somebody's driving by there, yeah, that would do the trick, that would kill them.
I think road salt kill the weeds, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yep. Do a pretty good job at it. And it's natural, organic.
Good.
It came out of the ground, right?
Guess won't be eating those berries, salty berries. Okay, I appreciate the privilege of the floor. Last chance for privilege of the floor. I know I have something else, but I can't think of it. Oh, I did pass the correspondence on Jersey Hill. I feel like I'm pestering the guy, but he did send me an email. I just read it out. The board did see this. Sub-consultant for the soil bearing, they anticipate field work to be completed by 9/11. The field work for the topo survey has been completed, waiting on mapping deliverable. Reached out to our surveyor for the update, but the mapping will be soon. Once we have these pieces, we can proceed with the slope analysis, recommendations and cost estimate. He's aiming to have the draft report completed by 9/20. But it depends on when he gets the survey and the subsurface data to his office. So he'll hopefully have that. Some budget numbers for us. That's my hope. That's the way it's in Jersey. Hope those stakes stay up. They might need them.
They're not gonna make it through winter, I'll tell you that much.
Right. Well, we're giving them every opportunity. They've been there long enough. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
And second by Rick, motion by Terry. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is closed. My mic's already on.